and then there's somewhere along the line, they realize that without Eddie Guerrero, he's really, not worth putting a lot of faith into. But I believe that he is, worth the time, worth the thought, and in time could be an Intercontinental or WWE champion, because you have these young talents coming in, and I know that WWE believes strongly in the new talent initiative and everything, and putting the belt on new talent. But I mean, someone like Chavo Guerrero, who definitely lost a lot of faith from the creator following the passing of his uncle, obviously, could be an Intercontinental or WWE champion, and it's beyond me why WWE are not giving him something more to do. I mean, he could even be a pro on NXT. At least give him something to be admired for doing, have him turn a babyface again. At least he get a bit of fan support, which he's not getting right now. I mean, nobody is interested in Chavo Guerrero for what he's doing right now. It's just something that I notice. He's not getting any media attention from any news source on the internet because of what he's doing. He's just kind of like a shadow that's there as part of the roster, and someone who you think will probably end up getting released. Because he's just not doing anything. He's not standing out like he did. Can you honestly say that what he's doing now means more to his career and the business than what he did with Eddie Guerrero or Rey Mysterio? I mean, come on, man. This is a guy who put WCW's luchador, division on the map. If any federation needs to be credited for its luchador wrestling, it's that stuff that comes on MTV too, Lucha del Ring. Maybe even Chavo Guerrero will find a place down there. I know La Parka and Psychosis and people like that are down there. I mean, maybe he can go down there and reunite with them and set Lucha del Ring on fire. If any company needs to be, highlighted for its contributions to Lucha del Wrestling, it's definitely Lucha del Ring. And people are so, criticizable over Lucha Wrestling. But I'm telling you, Lucha Wrestling is the shit, man. Lucha Wrestling is still alive, and Lucha del Ring are definitely keeping it alive, and I think that Chavo Guerrero definitely could probably find a place in Lucha Wrestling down there, because in WWE right now, he's not really doing anything, and he needs something to do. And if WWE keep booking him the way they're booking him, I really don't see him having a future in WWE or any company for that matter, unless he walks out on his own power, which is the only other alternative for him. Because if he leaves on his own power, at least he'll take his pride with him, and he'll make a lot of people happy. Because I'm telling you right now, with what he's doing in WWE right now, you cannot tell me that he is happy with what he's doing. I know that it might be entertaining to see him acting like an idiot from week to week, but I mean, come on, people. I mean, do you really need something like that going on for Chavo Guerrero? A man who was at the prime of his career, living the high life, capturing the Cruiserweight Championship, setting the luchador division in WCW on fire, and now we're seeing him booked in these pointless programs with Hornswoggle and doing these stupid and silly vignettes. I mean, who really wants to see that? I mean, the career of Chavo Guerrero speaks volumes. You go back 15 years ago on any video source in the internet, and you'll see what I'm talking about, because Chavo Guerrero is a phenomenal talent. And the Guerrero family in general, I'm surprised they haven't released a DVD on their career, because the career of the Guerreros speaks volumes. And like I said, that family deserves to be classified up there with the Hearts. It deserves to be classified up there with the Legion of Doom. It deserves to be classified up there with Demolition. It deserves to be classified up there with any legendary family of professional wrestling. The Rhodeses, the DiBiases, the list goes on and on. The Guerreros are definitely at the top of that list, and I cannot see how anybody can leave them out of it. I mean, they were very respectable people for the personal problems they battled through the years, for everything they did and overcame and accomplished. They need to be remembered for what they did, and I just think that anyone who doesn't remember them for what they did are heartless people, because the Guerrero family contributed so much to this business, probably even more than some people ever did, And the way they're utilizing one of the only Guerreros involved in this business that really means anything other than Vicky Guerrero, who, is absolutely shaming the Guerrero name with what she's doing with wrestlers like Edge and being the SmackDown consultant and hanging around Lakewood. If she's doing anything, it's shaming the Guerrero name, and she should definitely be ashamed of herself for even agreeing to sign with WWE or agreeing to do what she's doing, given the fact that her family has a tremendous reputation in this business. You need to be treating the Guerrero family with more respect than what you're doing, because you're taking away stuff that people like Eddie Guerrero worked so hard to achieve and build up. You're taking away that legacy that was achieved over 15 or 20 years, and I just don't think it has any business being done. And I just hope that, during a creative meeting or creative thoughts or creative processes, I just hope that someone on the creative team realizes the mistakes they're making and makes the right decision when it comes to the Guerrero family, or what's left of it in professional wrestling, and restores the dignity that the other Guerreros worked so hard to establish in this business. Because I believe somewhere along the line somebody lost faith in a family that didn't deserve to have faith lost in it to begin with. If you have any thoughts or opinions on anything that you hear from week to week, whether it be in the archives or in a column that I post every week, if you agree or disagree with anything that I write or post in these audio commentaries or in text format, you can drop me a line. And how you do that? hewwrestling@hotmail.com, or you can send me a friend's request on MySpace. The URL for that, myspace.com/HEW Entertainment Radio. Send me a friend's request on there. You can get access to my weekly column in text format. They're all archived on our website for you. Click on the column tab on the navigational bar at the top of the website, and be sure to check out past archives of this show and the interviews we've conducted for you. All the archives are available in our radio form, which this show is heard on from week to week. At the top of the navigational bar, just click on the radio tab, click on the podcast when you're directed into the form, and you'll get archives of past shows and interviews we've conducted, along with this week's. On that note, we're approaching the final week of March. The final week of March, we wrap up the month of March next week here on the broadcast. We've been on here 3 times this month, and our final week for March before we turn over the calendar into April month will be next week. And next week I'll be talking about anything that's on my mind as it pertains to professional wrestling and the sports entertainment world, because there's always something happening. Be sure to check out our news center for thousands of news articles and items that are coming in on a frequent basis. Click on the headlines tab in the directional bar, and check out past archives of my text column or my audio column, whatever pleases you. Check it all out. This show is heard from week to week in our radio form. Click on the radio tab to get access to the archives of the program. And we'll be back next week for the final week of March, when we wrap things up for this month and express our thoughts and opinions on anything going on in the world of sports entertainment and professional wrestling. Until next week, when we enter the final week of March, I'm Jonathan Clarke, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much for downloading this week's audio commentary. I'll see you next week.
It's said that the West was built on legends, tall tales that help us make sense of things too great or too terrifying to believe. This is the legend of
the Man in Black.
The thing about legends is, sometimes they're true.
missing figure in sports entertainment, annihilating